Hello caffeine fiends and welcome to another coffee review for www.getbean.com. I'm Vince the Mean Bean Machine and today we're looking at River Coffee's Flow Blend. Now before I get started, some of you may have recognised this ridiculous thing I'm sporting on my top lip. That is for charitable endeavours for Movember. So throughout the month of November I will be growing a moustache in aid of men's mental health. There will be a link in the description of this video on YouTube to donate to that if you so wish to. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to all of you who are following on YouTube. I now have over 200 subscribers, which is fantastic. I mean, this is only a little hobby thing, but thank you to each and every one of you. We've come a long way. Anyway, today we're looking at River Coffee's Flow Blend, which is a blend from both Brazil, I believe 60% Brazilian, 40% Peruvian. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So, I was intrigued by this blend because of what it said. One, it had a little like circly thing that said goes great with milk. And I'm a latte drinker. I don't drink milk. I'm dairy free. You know, one of those self-righteous vegan tools, but a latte or an oat latte is still my favourite way to consume coffee. Now, a great coffee can be drunk black, hands down. Sorry. But I like a latte, end of. Or a flat white if it needs more of the coffee to come through. But I like a milky drink. So I was like, sold, you've got it, you've said it works well with milk. I will hold your feet to the fire if that's not the case. But also, the tasting notes are chocolate, ding, butterscotch, ding, cherry, ding, ding, ding. 3 flavours that I really like, and in a coffee, I think that's going to be fantastic if they pull it off. Nice compostable bag, bit of, recycling involved, and it wasn't too expensive. So I believe it was about $7.25 for 250 grams, and then if you sign up for the 20% off your first order, you get it for $6. I'm not going to be able to do the maths in my head. $6 something. So it wasn't too expensive either for 250 grams. So great way to start. So what am I hoping from this? Well, chocolatey, says it all really. It doesn't say it all. I don't know why I'm saying that. Chocolatey, you know what you're going to get. A lot of coffee, certainly in England, in the UK, is chocolatey. You don't tend to get too many of the floral notes that you do globally. But butterscotch. Now mix that with a sort of silky, a silky butter. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting quite a silky mouthfeel from that butterscotch. Maybe a little kind of, savoury to temper. I know butterscotch isn't savoury, but something that slightly tempers that chocolate. And then a cherry pop. I'm expecting a little kind of burst of acidity from that cherry. No, maybe not acidity, but like a sharp tang, which should go nicely over those other 2 tasting notes. So that's what I'm expecting. So as always, I've got my espresso shot, my oat latte, and my water to cleanse the palate in between each drink. I'm going to take a sip now just to hydrate before I caffeinate, as you should always do. Oh, refreshing. Right, so here is the espresso shot. Let's give it a sniff. Not getting a lot off it. I think, actually, you do get a little cherry. That's positive, because that cherry tang is just rising through there. That slight bite. But I'm not getting much more else. Just that cherry. That's what's predominantly coming through just by smell. So let's give it a go and see what we think. Instantly, that cherry does sit on top. Cherry is a bang on note. Oh, good lord. What I wasn't expecting was the butterscotch to really push through. Bloody hell. Afterwards, I thought it would sit there just on top of the chocolatey taste, but the butterscotch comes through as an aftertaste, as a secondary tasting note, long after the cherry. Actually, you instantly go, well, there's the cherry, and then you sort of go, yeah, the chocolate's the base note, and then suddenly this butterscotch pushes through. Whoo! It's very buttery, actually. And I don't mean that in a creamy sense. I mean that in a there's something that lingers at the back of the tongue that you kind of go, oh yeah, that's quite. I know butterscotch isn't butter per se, but there's something about that hits you at the back of the tongue rather than further forward, which you would expect from like a sweeter note. It's not too sweet. In fact, it's not, given those tasting notes, it's not that sweet at all. It's a really nice mild cherry sits on top. There's not, and sort my tongue out. There is a sort of acidity, but it sits at the back of the throat. It doesn't clutch at the cheeks. It sits at the back of the throat, and you kind of go, and then it's just, I guess that butterscotch pushes forward. And you're just taken by surprise, which is actually really nice. It's nice to be taken by surprise. Let's not take that out of context. It's nice to be surprised by coffee every now and again, especially when you drink as much as I do. But yeah, so finish that off. Cherry's definitely sitting at the top. You swallow, and then this sort of butterscotch note, comes through. Personally, I'd like a bit more sweetness from that secondary note, and it's not a wildly sweet coffee, despite those tasting notes. But yeah, really interesting. I don't think it's a great espresso shot, but I do think it will probably lend itself to espresso coffee, as they've stated. Why would they lie to me? About the latte. So I'm really intrigued to see how it works with oat milk, because it's not milk, it's oat milk. But it's not a bad espresso shot. But if I were an espresso drinker or a black coffee drinker, I'd maybe want that cherry to be sharper, or one of those notes just to be a bit brighter, because I'm not tamping it down or expecting, the milk to complement it with its creaminess, etc. So, let's give it a go. There's no latte. Now, what am I expecting here? I think maybe the butterscotch will come to the fore even more so and be complemented by the milk, so you'll get more of a distinctive butterscotch taste. I think maybe the cherry will sort of fade. I may be wrong on that, but I think that might happen. And then that chocolatey notes do tend to be complemented by milk. Anyway, so let's see if I'm right. I'm a genius. No. It actually becomes really butterscotchy, and then those other flavours do die away. There's that cherry. I guess there is that slight kind of tingle at the top of the tongue, but you can't really identify the cherry too much once you throw the milk in there. The chocolate, I guess that's just kind of a residual base note. It's always there. But yeah, the butterscotch really comes through nicely. And with Christmas coming up, that's quite a luxuriant, like silky smooth, rich coffee. Actually, it's not that rich, but it's got that luxury. If you're a milky coffee drinker, lattes, cappuccinos, anything else that people take the mickey out of you for drinking, because they think you're middle class because you put milk in your coffee and use a foreign word for it. If you like those sorts of coffees, you're going to like that. And I think with Christmas coming up, that kind of pitches itself quite nicely for the season. So I'm going to give another sip. So it becomes really almost very mild. But that butterscotch kind of richness and warmth comes through. And there isn't that clutching You know where I said it catches you at the back of the throat? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't in the latte, which is, you know, again what you'd expect, and it becomes that silky smooth butterscotch taste. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I am gonna go away, think about this, finish my latte, and write up my final thoughts. In the meantime, do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get even further. Could we possibly maybe get 300 subscribers? Who knows? Maybe in another year's time. Anyway, do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Check us out at getbeaned.com. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, whatever. And in the meantime, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. My final thoughts on River Coffee's Flow Blend. Chocolatey Flow Blend is a chocolatey base with a really strong butterscotch aftertaste. That aftertaste really kind of catches you by surprise, pushes forward, really powers the drink, as it were, because you kind of go, yeah, standard. Oh wow, that's taken me by surprise, like I'm a little off guard. There is that slight cherry note if you're drinking it black, but that disappears with the milk really, and it works better as a latte than an espresso. So, but with that in mind, it was really hard to pitch the rating this week because, you know, it states, you know, ideal for milky drinks, ideal as a latte. So how do I pitch that? So I have gone with 3.5 stars because if you drink it as a latte drinker and you know what to expect, is 4 stars, easily 4 stars. But it loses that you know, versatility by not being able to. I mean, you can have it as a black or an espresso, and you will have a perfectly enjoyable coffee. But I just think it, you know, it knows what it is, and that's for milky drinks. If you're a black coffee drinker, you're probably going to go, yeah, that's fine, but not much more. But as a milky drink, milky coffee, that's great. So I've gone for 3.5 stars just to pitch it in between like the 3 of like black coffee and the 4 of milky coffee. So 3.5 seems reasonable. And at 70.75, that would be expensive. 7.75. It's kind of hard to argue with that pricing as well. So, you know, nice coffee, would get again if I were a latte drinker, which I am. But if you're not, maybe try something else. I mean, River Coffee have plenty of things to try out, but do check them out. Lovely coffee. And thank you very much for watching. Like I've said earlier, do hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.